My phone is spying on me. My phone is listening to my conversations.
Like, this is creepy.
I was like, man, I really want some beer. And won't you know it, I got an ad for a beer company. Not one, but you guessed it, two.
Has this ever happened to you? Have you had a conversation about something in particular with a friend in front of your phone, only for you to get a bunch of ads afterwards trying to get you to buy it?
Wow, just by saying it?
Just by talking, like I'm being spied on, just by saying it.
Marriage proposals, how to propose.
They're listening to your phone as you're having a conversation.
You think?
Yes.
People ask about it on Google and Reddit threads. Companies have had to deny it.
Yes or no, does Facebook use audio obtained from mobile devices to enrich personal information about its users?
No. Well, Senator, let me be clear on this. I mean, so you're talking about this conspiracy theory that gets passed around that we listen to what's going on your microphone and use that for ads.
Right.
We don't do that.
And before us conspiracy theorists get carried away by this, experts think there's something else going on. Are people's phones listening to them?
You know, the actual question is, does it have to?
When we make a purchase, whether that's in person or online, they're collecting information. But there are also lots of other ways that they're collecting information.
So what's the truth? I wanted to run a test to answer the question, is my phone listening to me? Hey there, Rob, thanks for joining me.
Great to be here.
So Rob, it's $1 million question. Everyone seems to have an opinion on it. Is my phone listening to me?
Your phone is listening for you rather than to you. So it's listening for, hey Google, or hey Siri. So it's listening for keywords, not necessarily listening to your conversation.
Now, is there a way I can test this? If I say vitamin C enough times, am I going to see a vitamin C ad? Or is there more things that I need to do?
No, I think we're actually doing it right now. So your phone's on the table, the phone has at various times been on and unlocked and waiting for an input. If vitamin C was going to be showing up in any of your services based on this conversation, you would see it over the next 2 or 3 days.
What's your prediction for this experiment that we're going to do?
So my prediction is, as long as you don't get tempted to find out about things associated with vitamin C, you won't see ads come up. If I'm wrong, you'll start to see vitamin C ads in your social media feed, when you look on YouTube, and when you surf the web, almost immediately, but certainly within the next day or so.
Okay, great. See you in a couple of days.
Thanks very much.
Okay, so I've just had a chat to Rob and I'm going to do the first check of my social media. So I'm just going to open up Instagram now and have a look at my stories. I've just had an ad for donating blood, but nothing on vitamin C yet. I've got an ad for your cat on your socks. So your cat on your socks, even though I don't have any pets. And I'm just going to go onto TikTok now to see if TikTok is showing me anything different. I just found an ad for an airline, so it thinks I've got some disposable income to go on a holiday. Still looking through TikTok to see anything else. I've got a makeup ad, but no vitamin C. While we wait, let's look at some of the ways companies are known to track you. They're all involved in targeted advertising, trying to match ads to you based on your online activities. One key way they do this is through cookies. You'll often get notified about them when you're on a website. The site usually asks you to read its cookie policy, which, let's face it, who's ever done that, and says it'll be used to enhance your experience. But what are cookies? A first-party cookie is sent from a website to your browser. It's stored by the site and collects data. You often need essential cookies for the site to work properly.
So for example, the login information, your preferences, your setting, your customized setting, and so on.
When cookies come from a place other than the site the user chooses to visit, they're called third-party cookies. Imagine you're looking for a new t-shirt. You might have a look around, you might look at one brand, but end up buying another instead. Even if you were to close your browser and end the session, that data is still on your phone or your computer, following you from site to site. The brand you didn't buy might still serve you up ads or emails. But it looks like third-party cookies are on their way out. Apple scrapped them in Safari, Firefox started blocking them in 2019, and Google's Chrome browser is promising to phase them out from 2024. Browser fingerprinting takes a look at your device and your other settings to create a profile about you. It takes things like the browser you're using, time zone, operating system, and other facts to create a unique ID. It's so accurate, it's been shown to identify users with 90 to 99% accuracy. And then there's your location. Advertisers have been known to use your location to find out things about you.
Just how insightful transaction data and location data put together. If you think about all the places you go and all the things you buy and how much you can learn about somebody from doing that, and then also match that with things like device identifiers that are co-located.
Advertisers take into account whether you're connected to the same IP address as someone else.
You had lunch with your mum and she was telling you about something that she bought or something that she was interested in. You might think, oh, they listened to my conversation, but actually what happened was your mum had looked up something on her phone or had purchased something on her phone, and they can say your phone was next to her phone for an hour in the same place. So they know that you've been together. So it seems like they're listening, but that actually there's a whole kind of range of technologies that link up together.
They can also find out your movements through something called Bluetooth beacons.
Bluetooth beacon technology has been getting a lot of buzz lately, but the area that is at the center of the heat map is their usage in retail stores.
If you have your Bluetooth switched on while you're walking through an area with these Bluetooth beacons, they'll be able to identify the different devices that are in that space and where they go.
Companies can also make assumptions about you based on the activities of your friends on social media.
So if your friend likes something and just view the post about it or like it or share it, it will be appeared in your feed as well without any interest from you, right? But because the AI algorithms can actually build a network, your network, based on the interaction that you have with people.
Something I've noticed when I've been doing this story is that I've been paying extra attention to ads that I probably would have totally ignored in the past. Which got me thinking, is there something else at play here? Have you ever heard of the buy to mine hot phenomenon?
So if you are thinking about buying a new car and you've got a few different brands that you've been looking at, when you look around, you'll tend to find all of a sudden it seems like those cars are everywhere.
It's also known as the frequency illusion and frequency bias.
The effect is actually that it looks like things are happening more often than they were before. Simply what's really happening is that you're noticing it. There's also another part to this phenomenon, and that's confirmation bias. So we like to be right. And what tends to happen is that once we think, oh, this is happening more often, that's consistent with our belief, we tend to see information that's consistent with that, and we don't take much notice of information that's not consistent with that belief.
I mean, tech aside, could psychology explain this as well?
I don't know to what degree tech is actually using that information, but certainly I would think there could be a contribution from this working memory-driven attentional capture effect and then confirmation bias.
And finally, the results. On day one of this experiment, about an hour after I started it, I got an ad for a chemist. On day 3, I got an ad for multivitamins. And on day 5, I got an ad for men's moisturiser with vitamin C. So what do we make of this?
I'm afraid I'm going to stand by my position. It was listening for you, not listening to you. So broadly, you're in a demographic where those advertisements are likely to be fed in any case. Now, it's difficult though, because we did mention vitamin C a lot during our first discussion. So the one that's most interesting, I think, is actually the men's moisturiser with vitamin C. So Chemist Warehouse, yeah, you're probably going to be advertised there. Turmeric supplements, perhaps that's related to your sports activities. But the men's moisturiser specifically with vitamin C is the one that just makes me slightly anxious about my assertive, no, it's only listening for you.
So, are our phones listening to us? It's definitely possible, but most experts seem to think that they don't need to. Don't forget that companies have huge amounts of data about us, from where we go, who we speak to, and the things we buy. The real question seems to be, is all this convenience worth giving up all our privacy for?